When I was elected in 2007, I had a blueprint of what I was going to do for the states. And, I studied the politics of the state and the infrastructure of the state for over 5 years before I opted to govern the states. And I must say that I was a very sad man. I was always very disillusioned. I felt that the governments were not living up to expectation, particularly in areas of infrastructural delivery. And so the psyche of the people was very low. People had low self-esteem. At the same time, the people were very uncomfortable with government. People did not trust government. People just felt that governments are just there. And after all, that all they will see will be corruption, squandermania, and at the end, failed promises and all that. So the difficulty was how to get the people to trust that this was going to be different. So when we came in 2007, I promised my people that their lives would never be the same again. And don't forget that when I came out to campaign for the elections, I had a campaign theme, which I call God's Will 2007, with a rider, let God's will be done. Let God's will be done. And for me, I knew that the best form of government would be the one that recognizes that authority comes from God. And so I was prepared to combine godliness, to combine what we learned from the biblical point of view with what was on ground. And I knew that if God was leading, there's no way the governor of the state will go wrong. So on ground, we had quite a very terrible situation. The infrastructure was not there, the roads were not there. For instance, in my location, where I come from, for about 29 years, we had no road to my place. My village is sedentary, and we have this federal road that traverses between Ikotekpene and Abak. And for 29 years, no repair, no taxis, even to get what we call in Nigeria Okada, that is motorcycle, to carry you through was a difficult thing. Once you mention the road, everybody will turn and go, and you couldn't even access the road with your own vehicle. So I came in and I said, no, things needed to change. And there were communities in my state that had never seen road. And then, of course, there were others that had never seen electricity. And there were others that were drinking from the stream. In this modern era, they were taking water from the stream. And you know how it is. In communities, people wash their clothes there, they defecate there, and then they also take water from there to drink. And so you had a lot of waterborne diseases everywhere. Then when I was going around the state, I also saw a situation that the healthcare delivery needed a total turnaround, because you had so many crippled children, so many children begging for wheelchairs. Why? Because there was a prevalence of poliomyelitis in this era. And then, of course, you could see poverty staring in the faces of people. So it is that loss of confidence in government. It is the decayed infrastructure I met on ground. It is the fact that many of my children, particularly those who would have loved to be in school, were not in school. This was an area that Nigerians came when they wanted houseboys, house girls, and all that. So we had that kind of syndrome. There was hardly any home in any city in Nigeria that you go that you will not see a child from here. Maybe staying as a driver, or as a houseboy, or as a house girl. And that was because of what? The inability to go to school. The school fees were too high. The parents are very poor. And we have a lot of oil offshore. So most times when there is oil pollution, the waters are also polluted. And then you have films of oil on water that results in the death of aquatic life. So you go there, even those that are fishermen will go out and come back and nothing to eat, because they'll go there with dead fishes and all that. And that affected their income. The result was that they couldn't even send their children to school. So what am I talking about? I'm saying I met a pathetic situation on ground that needed a total turnaround, that needed a total rehabilitation. And of course, I knew that with focus, commitment, and with the ability to manage the little resources coming into the state prudently, that things were definitely going to turn around.